We're gonna go over string operations. So in every string, it has elements, and all of those elements have a specific index value, like a list. So if we had a variable called x and said hello, how are you? Each element, like HELLO, and the space, they each have an index value. So like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 16. And then you can also do it like negatively. So we would start at -1, -2, -3, -4, all the way to the end. So those are their index positions. And then you can choose a specific index position in a variable too. So you have to say the variable of the string and then put the index inside it. So we would say, so if we had a string, hello, how are you? And then print x and then 0. 0 is the index variable, and then print h because h is at 0. And then if we do 13, it would be an empty character because the 13th index is empty. And then if we said -5, it would print e because e is at -5. And then it would print -2. If we did -2, it would print o because o is at -2. So if we print a we can print up a string in a certain range. Like we have to put the string variable, and then in parentheses we put the start index and then the end index. But the end index, it doesn't, it ignores the last one. So if we put like an end index of 7, it would only go till the 6th one. So here we did hello, how are you? And then 2 to 7. It will start at this L because that's the second index, and then go to the 7th one, but won't consider the 7th one. And then it will go to H. So the 7th one is O, but then it will go down one because it ignores it. So if we did 2 to 16, instead of going all the way to U, it ignores it and then goes to the 15th one. And then if we did 2 to -2, it would start at 2 and then go all the way to -2 here. Or -2 is O, but then it will go to Y because it ignores one of them. So if we want to reverse a string, we would say the string variable and then colon, and then -1. So if we had a string called hello, how are you? And then said print x, colon, -1, it would reverse it and then print it backwards. So it says that. And then if we want to make a string into a list, we just use the list function and then put the string variable inside the parentheses. So if we had x equals hello, how are you? And then y equals list x and then print y, we would get each and every element inside. No, each element of the string will be one element in the list. And then if we want to reverse that list, we would use the reverse function. So we would say list variable dot reverse. So x equals hello, how are you? And then we say y equals list x because now x is a list. And if we do y dot reverse and then print it, each element is printed backwards. And then if we want to alphabetically sort it, we can do the dot sort function. So we can say hello, how are you? And then y equals list x and then y dot sort, and then we would print y. So when we do y dot sort, it sorts it in alphabetical order. So first the empty stuff, and then it goes in order. So if we wanted to join a list, we would do 2 quotes and then dot join, and then that list variable. So we could say hello, how are you? And then we would make it into a list. And then we can say k equals dot join y. And if we print k, it will take out like everything in the list, and then we'll join it together. And then we will get hello, how are you? Do you guys have any questions on that? Okay, so open PyCharm and then try out these problems in the terminal. It will be pretty quick. So first, make a variable called hello, how are you? Okay, and then after you make this variable, this string, try doing this on it. Try printing x of -1. I'll give you like 15 seconds. Okay, if you do that, you'll get U because at -1, it's the last element or index. So try doing X and then 0:3. Okay, it would say HEL because it starts at the first element because it's 0, and then ends at the second index, not the third one, because we ignore the last one and then go back one. So now do X 4:7. That would print from the 4th index to the 6th one because the 7 is ignored. Okay, I'll print O space H. And then do X and then 4: with nothing after the colon. Okay, that will print from the 4th index all the way to the end because we put nothing after the colon, so it thinks we want to print the whole thing. And then just do print X and then a colon. Okay, that will print the whole thing because we don't specify a range. So putting that would be like useless. So try printing X and then 0:15:2. So the first number is the start one, the second one is the end one, and then the last one is the step. It's like a for loop, but like just on a string, it prints that. Okay, if you try that, you should get something like that. So it prints every second letter and then ends on the 14th one because we don't count the 15th index. So try doing : 3. Okay, it will print HLH and then EO with a space. And then try doing : -1. Oh, that will just reverse it. Okay, so try doing this one. So ask a user for a word, and if that word is a palindrome, print the word again. And then if it's not a palindrome, say it's not a palindrome. Okay, I'll go over the answer now.
Did you post the slide yet in the Google Classroom? Because I couldn't see it.
Okay, so you have to print give me a word and then store that word as an input. And then check if a word equals a word and then : -1. Because when we print -1 of it, it prints it backwards, and then we print word again. And then if you just say else and then say print not a palindrome. For number 2, ask the user for a word, convert it into a list, and then alphabetically store it in the list, and then join the list and print it. Okay, I'll go over it now. You say print give me a word, and then store that input as a word. And then you turn that word into a list, and then you sort it. So now it's alphabetically sorted. Now you join it using the join function. So you do the 2 quotes and then do dot join, and then the list, and then print it. So now you have an alphabetically sorted version of the word. Ask the user for a word, convert that word to a list, and reverse the list, and then using a for loop, print each element one by one. So I'll go over the answer now. So you have to print give me a word, and then store that word as an input, and then convert that word into a list. And then you say L word dot reverse, and now the list is reversed. And then using a for loop on that reverse list, you can print each and every element one by one. This is the last one. Okay. So ask the user for a word and then print every third character. And then if you want to find a length of their input, you can use the len function. So that finds the length of that string or anything. So you would put len and then that user input inside. And then remember, when you use the range thing, you have to add one because it will ignore the last element input. I'll go over the answer now. So you say print give me a word, and then you store that word as an input. And then to print the word, like each or every third one, we would say print word, and then in brackets 2, because we want to start at the third one. And then we put the length of the word +1, because if we got the length of the word, it would be 16, and then it will only go to R. But then if we did +1, which is 17, it'll go back down to D and then print until D. And then if we put 3 here, then it will go to every third one and then finish it. So then if you gave a word, it will print every third element. So that was a lesson for today.